Dumbstruck sat the gaping frog, and the whole admiring bog stared towards the sumac, rapt, and when she had ended, clapped. Ducks had swum and herons waded to her as she serenaded, and a solitary loon wept beneath the summer moon. Now, the frog was dumbstruck. Dumbstruck means he was struck with awe. He was struck with awe and amazement. He was amazed. Frog की बोलती बंद हो गई थी. Gaping means mouth wide open. That is called gaping. According to the frog, he was the best singer in the Bengal bog. But he was aware that now the nightingale could take that position. अब वो position जो है वो nightingale की हो सकती है. Okay? And the whole admiring bog stared towards the sumac, and all the creatures of that bog admired. All the creatures were enchanted. Enchanted. Stared. Stare means to look at something continuously. They stared towards the sumac. क्योंकि वो sumac tree पर गा रही थी, so they stared towards the sumac, rapt. It seemed as if the nightingale's song had casted some magic upon them. So they listened to her with great attention. And when she had ended, clapped. And when she had ended her song, everyone clapped. Ducks had come close to the sumac tree to listen to the song, and herons also waved. They waved their hands to her as she serenaded. They waved means they cheered her here. They cheered the nightingale to her as she serenaded. Serenaded means she sang. Sang in a melodious way. Melodious way. So ducks had swum and herons waded to her as she serenaded, and a solitary loon. Solitary means lonely, akela. Loon is a large water bird. Large water bird. Okay? And a solitary loon wept beneath the summer moon. And Nightingale's song had affected the loon in such a way that the loon became very emotional and it started shedding tears. Loon को इतना ज़्यादा emotional कर दिया था उसके melodious song ने, Nightingale के song ने, कि loon के आंसू बहने लग गए थे. The figure of speech used in this paragraph can be personification. Personification. The poet has personified all the animals. Animals, they don't clap, they don't cry, they are not enchanted, they don't admire anything, they don't sit dumbstruck, they don't open their mouth and look at anything. ये सब किसकी qualities हैं? ये सब man की qualities हैं. These are the qualities of a human being. So, the poet has here personified all the animals. Now next, toads and teals and tiddlers captured. Bravo, too divine, encore! So the nightingale once more, quite unused to such applause, sang till dawn without a pause. Toad is a frog-like creature, teal is a small fish, tiddlers again is a small fish, but you see here, T, 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 the sound of T is repeated again and again, so this is an alliteration. Alliteration. The figure of speech used here again is alliteration. So toads, teals and tiddlers, they were captured. They were spellbound. They also could not say anything, had nothing to speak. They were captured by the voice of the nightingale and they all shouted. They shouted, bravo, too divine. Too divine means heavenly. Divine means heavenly. Encore means once more. When the audiences, they like something very much, they shout once more. So encore means once more. And so the nightingale once more, quite unused to such applause. For the nightingale, it was a natural thing. Okay, her song, her voice was something very natural. So she was not very used to such applause, such appreciation. So far, the nightingale sang for herself. वो सिर्फ अपने लिए गाती थी और उसको नहीं पता था कि वो इतना अच्छा गाती है. तो when she was praised, उसको जब इतना appreciation मिला, वो उसके लिए बहुत she was very unused to it. It was very new to her. वो सब बहुत नया था उसके लिए. And she sang till dawn without a pause. और पूरी रात, till the early morning, she continued singing without a pause. Next night, when the nightingale shook her head and twitched her tail, closed an eye and fluffed a wing, and had cleared her throat to sing. She was startled by a croak. Now next night, when the nightingale shook her head and twitched her tail, shook her head and twitched her tail means she was doing all these activities to warm herself up, and she cleared her throat. She closed an eye, she fluffed her wing, she twitched her tail. Twitch means to give a jerk, एक jerky movement, jerky movement, and fluffed away and had cleared her throat to sing. She was startled. She was startled means interrupted here. Interrupted. एक croak सुनी उसने, croak करने की आवाज सुनी. She was interrupted. She was interrupted by a croak. By a croak. Who made that croaking sound? The frog. So she was interrupted by the frog. And she said, "Sorry, was that you who spoke?" She inquired when the frog hopped towards her from the bog. "Yes," the frog replied. "You see, I am the frog who owns this tree. In this bog, I've long been known for my splendid baritone." She asked the frog, is that you who are trying to talk to me?" She inquired when the frog hopped towards her from the bog, and the frog came towards her from that bog. And the frog said, "Yes." The frog replied. He said, "You see, I am the frog who owns this tree." He is trying to impress the nightingale. He is trying to impress the nightingale by telling her that he was the owner of that tree. And then he says, "In this bog I have long been known for my splendid baritone." Here the frog is trying to be a self-proclaimed artist. Proclaim means to announce. Okay, proclaim means to announce. So the frog himself is announcing himself to be the artist. He's saying, "The creature in this bog know me from a very long time for my splendid baritone." Splendid means beautiful, melodious, beautiful or melodious, melodious. And baritone is a heavy male voice. Okay. "And of course, I wield my pen for bog trumpet now and then." So again, now frog. So here frog is saying, "I wield my pen." Wield my pen. Wield means I hold my pen. So this means I also write. He's saying I am not only a singer. मैं सिर्फ गाता नहीं हूँ. I am also a writer, and I write for bog trumpet now and then. So this bog trumpet, it can be a popular newspaper or magazine in the bog. Very proudly he tells the nightingale that I also write columns for bog trumpet now and then. So अक्सर मैं bog trumpet में भी articles, columns लिखता रहता हूँ. So the nightingale is now impressed by the frog. बहुत impress हो गई है वो frog से, and she's saying, Did you like my song? Not too bad, but far too long. The technique was fine, of course, but it lacked a certain force. Oh, the nightingale confessed, greatly flattered and impressed that a critic of such note had discussed her art and throat. I don't think the song's divine, but, oh, well, at least it's mine. Okay, so now the nightingale is very impressed by the frog because frog has told her that he was the best singer in the bog, number one, and number two, he has also told her that he writes columns in the famous newspaper of the bog, that is the bog trumpet, as a music critic. Okay, एक म्यूजिक क्रिटिक की तरह, एक म्यूजिक के जानकार की तरह वो उसमें आर्टिकल्स लिखता है. अब वो बहुत इम्प्रेस हो चुकी है उससे, इसलिए नाइटिंगेल चाहती है कि फ्रॉग उसको उसका एक्सपर्ट कमेंट दे. दैट इज व्हाई शी इज आस्किंग, डिड यू लाइक माय सॉन्ग? And then frog said, not too bad, but far too long. Now here we need to notice how frog is giving a negative compliment to the nightingale. फ्रॉग को कोई भी फ्लॉ नहीं दिखा, कोई भी फ्लॉ मतलब कोई भी कमी नहीं दिखी नाइटिंगेल के सॉन्ग में. इसलिए उसने बोला कि योर सॉन्ग वॉज वेरी लॉन्ग. It was not very bad, but it was very long. All these qualities, the crafty nature, the cunning nature of the frog, is stopping him from genuinely praising the nightingale. Okay, so this negative criticism, जो negative criticism frog दे रहा है nightingale को, this negative criticism is deliberate and intentional. उसकी क्या इंटेंशन है? उसकी इंटेंशन ये है कि किसी तरह से वो फ्रॉग को एक्सप्लॉइट करे. रिमेंबर एक्सप्लॉइट? एक्सप्लेनेशन की शुरुआत में मैंने आपको बताया था, एक्सप्लॉइट मीन्स किसी को यूज करना अपने फायदे के लिए. सो ही हैज अ डेलिबरेट इंटेंशन, इंटेंशनली वो ऐसा कर रहा है, जानबूझ के वो ऐसा कर रहा है. डेलिबरेटली करना या इंटेंशनली करना मतलब जानबूझ के करना. वो जानबूझ के ऐसा कर रहा है ताकि वो, क्योंकि उसका प्लान है कि वो नाइटिंगेल को एक्सप्लॉइट करे, नाइटिंगेल को यूज करे अपने बेनिफिट के लिए, और फिर से वो उस बिंगल बॉग में एक ऐसा सिंगर बना रहे जिसके लिए कोई भी चैलेंज ना हो. The technique was fine, but it lacked a certain force. So बहुत सारे examples वो दे रहा है, बहुत सारे flaws वो उसको गिना रहा है जो flaws actually थे भी नहीं उसके song में. Oh, the nightingale confessed, greatly flattered and impressed. Why is she flattered and impressed by the frog? Because she is a naive creature. उसको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है कि frog के मन में already एक plan है उसको वहां से एलिमिनेट करने के लिए, उसको वहां से निकालने के लिए. Instead, she is impressed that a critic of such note had discussed her art and throat. She is impressed that that expert had discussed her art and throat. That expert is ready to discuss about her art and throat, her singing talent. Okay?